Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the score was 108-106. The Lakers lose a heartbreaker once again to end the series. We're out in the first round, gentleman's sweep. Denver Nuggets move on to play the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this was a game where I did a lot of soul searching before turning on the camera. I can't say I did too much in regards to looking at statistics, but if I'm being real with everybody, I just feel like the Denver Nuggets took the game from us, man. They met the urgency of our desperation, and down the stretch of the basketball game, they just did a little more than we did. You know, I look at the free throw line once again. Just like I said at the end of Game 3, at the end of Game 5, I said we missed too many free throws that we needed to have go right for us. And we challenged the play down the stretch of a basketball game. We won the challenge, but we didn't get our timeout back, and we needed that timeout because we were out of timeouts. And with 3 seconds to go, I feel like if we could have had a play run there, we would have been straight. But we kind of inbounded the ball to Bron. He got it to TP and just shot it, and that was it. Got to give Murray credit. He killed us tonight. Over 30 points, I'm sure. Hit the game-winning shot with 2 seconds to go. I mean, he's just a phenomenal shooter, man. Jokic with over 20 points, over 20 boards once again. No answer there. I thought Rui Hachimura played a really good game. Scored in the paint a lot, helped us there. I was frustrated with him from behind the arc, but I thought he really attacked the paint. Spencer Dinwiddie came in, even though he had bricked some threes, he hit some key ones. Austin Reeves was fantastic in the fourth quarter with like 9 points in the fourth. Anthony Davis played through a shoulder injury throughout the second half. Aaron Gordon, was it? No, it was Porter who ran into the back of his shoulder and just kind of threw him off. You know, it really did come down to injuries. In the end, I mean, injuries and altitude is what I mean, I don't know if that's a good excuse at all. I'm trying to search for the right way to describe what I saw there, but I just thought we just really didn't overcome a better basketball team. The referees did not help. I thought they made life very difficult on the Lakers in certain situations, but I thought the Lakers made life hard on themselves by not hitting free throws. You know, we got to the line like 26 times, only hit like 15 of them. There's your game. You only lost by 2. So I mean, you just couldn't let it happen, man. And you saw moments in the third quarter where we were really showing energy. We had it. We were trying, but Austin Reeves missed 2 free throws out of 3 on a 3-point foul. And I just thought the tide kind of started turning there. LeBron James got fouled on a play, he thought, didn't get back. They scored in transition, and the tide kind of turned there. But the realistic way of looking at it is also saying that even before that, when Anthony Davis got that shoulder ran into, that's when the tide really turned, because Anthony was on fire. And after that, he was half himself. He was able to get some boards, but he wasn't able to score anymore. And we really needed to be able to go to him scoring. So in the end, Laker Nation, I can honestly say it boiled down to physically not being able to perform in altitude. And I hate to say that, because we did perform, but not well enough to beat the Nuggets on this night. And, you know, injuries, the fragility of Anthony Davis, and it just really did kind of come down to that. If he would have been able to not be injured, however that played out, he would have been healthy enough to finish the game. And ultimately, if he was healthy enough to finish the game, we probably win the game. But because he was having to play through injury, he wasn't able to give us what we needed. We had to try to get it somewhere else, and we weren't able to really get it anywhere else. Now, the part that bothers me is my link started messing up with like 1:30 to go in the fourth quarter. And when I turned it back on, it was like 20 seconds to go. So I really don't know what happened in between that time, and it's devastating for me because that was very key. Somehow the Nuggets ended up getting the lead. When I turned the game, when the link started messing up, I think we were about 1. So somewhere in there, things happened, and I just don't know what they were. So that puts me at a disadvantage as a talking head. But in the end, we lost. And we lost because we got out executed by the Denver Nuggets down the stretch of the basketball game. Even though I thought we executed better than we had in situations like this, it still wasn't enough to beat them. And I give them the credit because they just did their part. Murray hit some shots tonight that you just have to tip your hat. You're like, yo, if he's going to hit those shots, there's really nothing you can do, fam. Dunked on Bron tonight. I mean, he really was a killer. And I keep telling people, this is one of the greatest killers I've ever seen. He just is. And you talk about Jokic being the best player in the league. Yes, he is. But Murray is one of the most lethal game closers and big shot makers in basketball, man. And with the fate of the universe on the line, there's few people in this league that I trust more to close a game out. It's Jalen Brunson, him. Those are the two that come to mind right away. And he closed us out, man. He with another spectacular shot with 2 seconds to go on the game clock. On a tied basketball game, he just ran down the middle and just hit a little shot and ended our season, just like he did in Game 3. I mean, he's just that great, man. He's just that great. He's just that great. And Jokic is as well. When you consider that he had a bad first half and still managed to get 26 points, 24 boards, God knows how many steals. I mean, an assist. I don't know what to say, man. I think my team played with a lot of heart tonight. I actually wasn't very upset at us tonight. There were things that I can nitpick, and I probably will. When I think back on how this series went and how this game went with certain rotation decisions, certain situations, I'm sure I'll listen to talking heads and they'll anger me, listening to them tell what they saw and what could have been done better. But I don't walk away from this game feeling like our team didn't show heart. I don't walk away from this game ashamed of the roster tonight. I think they met the urgency necessary to give their best, and I think they got beat by a team that could just do a little more than them. And some of the traits that we have in regards to Anthony Davis being fragile, I thought he overcame that throughout the course of the season. But in the end, him not being able to perform because of injury was the deal breaker on the whole thing. And I don't think that that's fair to him, because he really was playing phenomenal all series long. He had an amazing season. But Game 4, he got hit in the shoulder and wasn't able to perform, and that's the last thing we saw. It's just the last thing we saw. And he played through it. You know what I mean? He didn't leave the game. But it just was what it was. Bron, same thing. He rolled his ankle. He played through it. I don't think it affected him as much. I think he just he played through it, you know. I'm not ashamed. I guess that's the best thing I can say. We lost in a gentleman's sweep, but I thought the effort we showed in Game 4 was worthy of me saying you played with heart. I don't know that we were able to gain the respect of the Denver Nuggets, but I saw Mike Malone's face. I saw Jokic's face. They weren't sitting there just laughing and hee-heeing. They had to really fight to beat us tonight. But they beat us tonight. And our season has come to a close. We have the 17th overall pick to look forward to. Max Christie, LeBron James, D'Angelo Russell, free agency considerations. I believe there are others as well. I just don't know exactly who those names are right now. Mine's a little blank. Forced the Denver Nuggets into some very uncharacteristic turnovers tonight, so you can feel good about that on this night. But I think if you really want to nitpick strong, if you really want to dig into what could have been avoided, I think some people are going to look at the fact that we had Christian Wood and Vanderbilt available and didn't use them. I think you're going to look at the fact that Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, and they didn't have good games, and he kind of turned to them a little more than maybe you would have liked him to. Maybe didn't go to Austin Reeves soon enough in the fourth quarter. Maybe some of those lineups that we had down there were small ball lineups. They weren't down there for too long, but 3-guard lineups that Darvin likes to go to, they were a net negative in the third quarter in a key moment. So that was ultimately a real contributing factor to our tide turning. was those choices, which they always are and have been all season long, a big burden on our franchise. If you ask me, some of Darvin's rotational decisions really hurt him. And tonight, I felt was yet another night where you can just add more data to that. I mean, he wasn't particularly terrible, but he was consistent with the choices that he chose, and they always end up frustrating me personally. And I thought that they're going to be I thought there were some times out there where fans could say that his lineup choices hurt us tonight. I really believe that. Yeah, man, I wanted to win this game, but I also understood that we were going up against a team that's simply better than us, that beat us 11 times in a row. We were able to beat them in the last game. That is something to be said for that. You know, we overcame the Nuggets. We're not going into this next season with a long streak of them beating us in a row. Nothing like that. So that helped breaking that. And I don't think my team was satisfied with breaking the streak. I think they genuinely wanted to win tonight. I think there's some very unhappy people in that locker room right now. And that makes me feel at peace to a degree as well. Just understanding that they didn't mail it in. It took everything to beat us. It took a final second shot to beat us. I wasn't unhappy with Darvin's choice to challenge that play that ended up killing our timeout. It could have been a difference if we wouldn't have challenged it. They would have been going to the line for something they didn't deserve. I think the league should have given us back our timeout with the rule that they have. You know what I mean? If I challenge something, it should never cost me a timeout. If I win that challenge, my timeout should be returned to me, no matter what. And I think that the fact that they have that in the rule book is supposed to deter you from using your challenges as much, to sort of uphold the I want to say the word integrity, but I guess the overall faith that the league has that the referees are to not be questioned or challenged. So it's almost like, yo, we're gonna, even though you win this challenge, the fact that you would dare challenge our refs is something that we're gonna dock you for, just in general, that you would even dare challenge us. I don't like it. I think it's I don't have the right word for it, but it seems as if they're like so far above reproach that even when they're wrong, you have to pay for challenging them. And I think that truly hurt the Lakers tonight, because if we would have had that timeout returned to us, we would have been able to call it with 2 seconds to go and maybe given ourselves an opportunity to advance the ball with a play run. And I just thought it wasn't available to us, and I thought that rule was what contributed to that a great deal. A great deal. Our season is over for a million reasons, but none more than the fact that we just could not help ourselves with 3 seconds to go after Jamal Murray hit a characteristically great shot, for which he's prone to do. You need your timeout there. We should have been able to use it. So I think that rule hurt us just as much as anything on that basketball floor did. I really do. But the Lakers got to hit their free throws, man. It just brings me back to the free throw line, and our three-point shooting was not very good all series long. I don't think it was very good tonight. The Denver Nuggets got it together on their home court. I thought their fans really helped them a lot, surging in certain moments, kind of getting them back into it, and they really followed the rhythm of the crowd. You know what I'm saying? That's the home court advantage. Altitude really helped the Denver Nuggets as well, which is also something that very much frustrates me as a Laker fan, because I feel like they have an unfair advantage anytime someone comes into their building. And we've talked about this. I don't have a solution for this, but your team gets tired in times where it would otherwise be fine anywhere else in the league. But in their floor, you're tired because of that altitude, and they're not, because they practice in it all year long. So it's an unfair advantage, and you know, that it would be great if we could figure out some technology that could help us with that. Something that could help the league when they face the Denver Nuggets, man, so that our teams are not as tired as we otherwise would be, giving them an unfair advantage against us. You might as well just shoot them up full of what's the word? Enhancement drugs. PEDs is the words I'm looking for. You might as well just shoot him up with PEDs if you want him to have an unfair advantage. Just give Jokic PEDs before the game. You know what I mean? Because that's what the equivalent of that is to me, to be honest with you. When they get the chance to play in that altitude and have a little more energy than the other team. It's just an unfair advantage. And they take advantage of it as they should. So yeah, man, I'm a bitter Laker fan, man. I felt like a call did not go our way, but even when it did, we didn't take advantage. We missed some key free throws that we really needed back. And they made you pay for every mistake. I give credit to the Denver Nuggets for consistently making us pay for every little mistake we made. I thought the basketball gods were in their favor a lot of times. The ball, as it always is, to be honest with you, kind of falls into their lap. On offensive rebounds, they just happen to be in the right place at the right time. Maybe they're a team of destiny. I don't rule that type of thing out. But they really do find themselves in position. They're like, oops, it's in my hand. Oops, it's falling out of bounds. Oh, that was tapped this way. And look at Porter's right in position to catch it. You know, Porter's probably somebody who needs to be given a lot of flowers for this series as well. With everything he's got going on in his life, he was utterly devastating. And we talk about Murray, we talk about Jokic, but his consistency was devastating for us. Every single night, he was destroying the hell out of us. Behind the arc, he's an amazing scorer and a killer himself. And I tip my hat to the guy, man. Not too many people can play as well as he did under the circumstances he has going on. And he did not make life easy on the Lakers through 5 basketball games. He was fantastic, and tonight was no exception. Michael Porter Jr. is a elite scorer in this league, and I think all-star appearances should be in his futures, and in championships probably will continue, because this team is not going away, I don't believe. So that's what it is, man. I'm at peace. I think I'm at peace. I didn't think I would be at the end of this series, but I really was happy with how my team showed up and played these last 2 games. Being down 0-3 and then 1-3, I thought we played with a certain level of urgency that you could be proud of, very proud of. I thought we had an opportunity to win this game because we tried really, really hard to win it. And that's ultimately what I was wondering if I would see. Games like this can go either way. You know, it's just like I said at the beginning of the day. Games like this can really go either way. If you play your best ball and they play their best ball, sometimes you're just not going to win because the other team is just a little bit better than you. And you could break down why that is. You could look at this person or that person, but the sum of what you are versus the sum of what they are just doesn't make it so that your best is better than their best. I don't know that we played our best, but I thought we gave our best, and that matters. I don't think Denver played their best, but I thought they gave their best, and that's what ultimately overcame us. The urgency was met by the NBA champions there. I thought they played through injury just like we did. I thought they would not give up. Guys like KCP, Reggie Jackson, Murray, they just didn't give up, just like Anthony Davis didn't, just like LeBron James didn't. You know, they met the urgency. They understood how important winning this game was, and I think they were genuinely concerned about what it looked like if we won it and brought this thing back to LA. And I think I can go into the offseason having that be something that makes me feel a lot better about this whole thing, which is what I ultimately wanted. So I think we ended the season with our head high, and there were many times this season where I did not see that being the case. Am I pleased with the outcome? No, we're out in the first round in 5 games. That is bad, and people will have to answer for that. But I think when you talk about how you wanted the final buzzer to go in the final game, you get eliminated. I think we walked away with our head held high. I think we were in a heavyweight fight, and we just didn't win in the closing seconds. And that's what was required to eliminate us. And that's what it should be about. I've seen many teams go further in the playoffs, and when you walk away from the season that you're in, you didn't feel as good as I feel about your effort as I do right now. I remember a Laker team, Boston Celtics 08, where we got blown out so bad in Game 7 of the finals. Or was it Game 6? Game 6 of the finals, I believe it was, that I just wanted to throw my TV out the window. In my humble opinion, the Lakers played a team tonight that was probably just as good as that Boston team was and did a much better job, even though they only went 5 games. I thought the 5th game was an infinitely better effort than that team that year in that circumstance. Different, nuanced things to consider. Obviously, players hurt and not available in that series many years ago, different Laker team. But the point was, I walked out of there with anger in my mind because of how we finished the season and because of how we showed up against the Celtics. I do not walk away from this series with anger in my heart about how we showed up against the defending champions and how we ultimately ended our season here, falling just shy of our goal of trying to get this thing back to LA. So I hope that our team feels good about themselves. I walk away from this feeling good. Obviously, we got some changes to make, and we know what they are. And I expect them to be made rather quickly. Jeannie, rather quickly. And you know what I'm talking about. I ain't even going to speak on it. It should be done tomorrow morning. And, we gotta consider what's next, man. But I'm proud of Anthony Davis for fighting through. LeBron James all season long, you guys. With some ups and downs, but I thought they gave us a healthy season, man. Rui Hachimura, good night tonight, man. End the season on a high note. D'Angelo Russell ended the season on a high note. I thought he played very well tonight on both sides of the floor. I was very impressed with D'Angelo Russell tonight, man. I really was. I thought his effort defensively was good, and even though he went down 1-5 from behind the arc in the first half, I thought he came back and was aggressive in the second half, driving at the rim, making layups. And I didn't agree with Darvin Ham's willingness to take him out of the game for Taurean Prince in the last moment of the game. Those final 3 minutes, I would rather that be a D'Lo heave with his ability to shoot the ball and his unique gift than whatever the hell coach was thinking about in that moment. But, of course, he subbed his guy in with 3 seconds to go, and there was nothing come of that, just like it was nothing to come of it throughout the course of the game. Taurean had a bad game. And Taurean had a good series, in my opinion, but he had a bad game. But in typical Darvin Ham fashion, he turned to him with the fate of the universe on the line, and it was not for good. It wasn't for good. What else, man? Spencer Dinwiddie, it was kind of hard to get his footing on this team, but I thought he played good in this game. It was aggressive, but I thought that some of the rotations he was placed in were no good for him. Gabe Vincent, same thing. Some of the stuff we were asking these guys to do, playing with Taurean Prince at the 4 and the lineups with D'Lo on the floor with them, just completely negated the fact that these are guards and shouldn't be on the floor with other guards and without a power forward. So these were the things that really irritated tonight. And I thought those guys suffered the ills of that decision. No different than Patrick Beverley, Russell Westbrook, and Dennis Schroeder suffers the ills of that same decision last season. He used them the same way he did those guys, and they all suffered because of it. Every one of them. They all were left to look bad, and it really wasn't their fault. If they were put in lineups where positions were respected, instead of asking them to make up for each other's deficiencies in height and size, they would have had better tenures as Lakers. All 5 of them. And that's exactly what comes to mind as my season ends. I just felt like he used them too, just like he did those 3. Exact same way. Yeah, man. Salute the Kobe minute. Yeah. It can get into a whole nother conversation about my frustrations there. But at the end of the day, our season is now complete. We have a full understanding of what happened there. I'm not completely unhappy. I would have loved to have had my lottery pick right now, just like I told you guys. I didn't really want to have to get beaten by the Denver Nuggets. I thought a lottery pick would be better for our franchise, but I think we got some definitive confidence knowing that because we saw the Denver Nuggets, we were able to break the streak, even though it did extend to 11 because of the series. But neither here nor there. We broke the streak and made the playoffs, which is something that I think the franchise is pleased with. And so you just have to appreciate other people's goals for what it is that they feel is best for them. I personally am not angry that we made the playoffs and it ended this way. I thought we saw some good ball tonight. I thought we saw some good ball in Game 3. That lottery pick really would have been better for us than that, though, to be honest with you. And that's just how I feel about it. But I'm happy that we saw some Laker ball tonight. And if we wouldn't have made the playoffs, we wouldn't have. So we just roll with it, you know. I'm not unhappy about any of this. It's just that asset is really important now that offseason is coming around. I don't know. What I'll be paying attention to is when the lottery comes around, how will the pick that we would have had, which probably goes to the Sacramento Kings, if they were in the position to have missed the play-in tournament. Who was it that missed play-in? To the Rockets? That's kind of skewed, but the point is, one of them picks would have been the pick we would have had if we would have missed the playoffs. If that pick gets into the top 3, you know, that could really be a thing where you look at it and say, wow, man, you know, we would have had a really good pick. But then again, as I say that, I understand. If that pick were to go in the top 3, the Pelicans would have taken it. Now, for me, that's a plus because I wanted them to take it this year, and that's exactly how I incorporated it into my head. If it's a good pick, they'll be willing to take it from us, and then we'll have our pick next year and a lot more control over our future because of that. But because it's the 17th pick, they're likely going to allow us to have it, which we can use maybe in a trade, or we can use to draft us a piece that we may need. So it's a win-win-win as far as I can tell. But it just depends on how bad you want the Pelicans to take the pick, because that's really the only thing you can gain from the pick that you would have had if you missed the playoffs. Becoming a good pick was ultimately them likely choosing to take it from you. So I can understand the argument for the organization just saying, screw it, let's make the playoffs. Let's not avoid Denver. Let's just see what happens. And this is what happened. Gentleman's sweep. I thought we fought hard. I thought we had big leads. I think, you know, when you break apart the series, there's a lot to be frustrated about because of those big leads that were ultimately let go of. The way that this game ended was a heartbreaker, just another back-breaking Jamal Murray shot, just like Game 3. I haven't really settled into that shot or how that makes me feel. I just, you know, when the game ended, I just understood we lost. That's it. I'm not really absorbing the heartbreak of this game, to be honest with you. This is not where my head is. But I think there are a lot of people who are just crying right now, you know, just because of how this game went. But I'm just not. I'm not there. That's not where this is for me. For me, it's more so just looking at the fullness of all of this and just understanding that now we have some uncertainty ahead, and we really gotta wait and see what our front office does. And I'm hearing rumors about getting another star. I'm hearing a lot of stuff that really doesn't make me feel confident that they're not about to dig us further into a hole for years to come with another 3-star model, you know, unit, which to me is not the way to go. I would much rather give myself some cushion for the future, get my picks, you know, so that we can at least see a future past this era we're in that allows us to get fresh talent. as it comes into the league. So I think that that's more so what I value as a long-term Laker fan, rather than trying to continue to preserve the unit that we have right now, or add to it the core that we have right now. I just don't feel the injury risk is worth the further risk of mortgaging more of my future. I bring in a Kevin Durant, add to AD and Bron, and they all miss 50 games next season. And then what? I'm in the Phoenix Suns boat where they don't have any picks from between now and 2030. I mean, that's just, I would rather not be in that situation, even if it could put me in a position to maybe win a couple extra games in the playoffs, which is all I think the ceiling would be for a team like that. And that's assuming they stay healthy all season long. So I just don't want to do the 3-star model thing unless we're getting young talent to do it. So I'm hopeful that that rumor isn't necessarily true. So I'm just worried, man. I'm worried. I don't have a whole lot of faith right now in the front office's decisions to do the right thing. I think they prioritize things a little differently than I do, and I feel like resetting is a safer bet than going forward, hoping that you can bring the right third star to Bron so we can get you championship 18. And after you get that 18th championship, assuming everything goes perfectly right, they all go off into the sunset, and then you suck real bad without any assets to show for it, without any picks to reset with. I don't want to go forward like that. That's a like 6 or 7 year run of being terrible, and I just don't think the Lakers should even set themselves up for that. So that's my point of view, man. That's really where this game took me. After watching this game, at the end of the day, it just came down to us not being able to physically perform. For better or for worse, Anthony Davis, somebody ran into his shoulder and he was not the same player. You know, it just is what it is, man. So when I talk about what I think the ceiling is for a team with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, bringing myself another guy that could roll an ankle and then having a bunch of moderate role players, I don't see a championship with that. Not in this new modern era with these young teams. The Wemby and the Houston Rockets going to be coming soon. You got Orlando stepping into their own. You got Minnesota now running things. You got Denver and Jokic in their 20s. I mean, the young teams that are in this league, the Boston Celtics and their core of their 20-year-olds, 28-year-olds rather, mid-20s. Point is, I don't really care to go forward with a bunch of dudes my age, man. Letting them get their last hurrah in my uniform only for me to stink for 8 years after that, while the NBA replenishes all these young talent that's coming into the league going to other teams. That ain't a good future for our squad, man. Especially given the fact that we're going to want to hold down this LA market. I just think it's time to start cutting our losses and start cashing out on superstars, man, and start trying to make sure that young talent is in our uniform without fear. Without fear, man. So we'll see what the front office does, man. You got to get it right. If you don't, you're going to set us up for a long time of failure. And don't think you can cut corners or skip steps and all that. It doesn't really work. It doesn't actually work. So that's it, man. That's it, man. Kudos to this unit. They gave us their effort this year that was admirable in the end. I thought this is one of the most frustrating seasons of my Laker tenure for fan, but I thought it ended on a very respectable note, and I'm very happy that it did. Many may disagree given the fact of when we lost, but I'm looking at the game for which we were cut out. I thought they played with heart, man. And so that's really what it is, man. Thanks, Bron. Thanks, AD, man. I don't think I'm giving that thanks enough credit. It's just so much. I thank all the people who follow me all year long, people who've been commenting and putting likes on my videos every day. We're not going anywhere. We got plenty to talk about in the off season, so this is not me farewelling, but it has been a very long season, and y'all stuck with me through my ups and downs and following each and every one of these games, including preseason. You're seeing what I've been going through in my personal life now. I'm thankful I am that everything is in such a space where I can still do what I love to do on here And I just really appreciate all the support. It's been a great year of Laker basketball on this channel, and you guys have been sticking with me, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. And like I said, man, I'll be right back doing Laker videos a lot. There will be a stretch of the summer where it probably won't be a whole lot to talk about, and I won't be giving you Laker versus Celtic breakdowns or Bron versus Michael Jordan topics just to be fillers in. But throughout the course of the off season, there will be a lot to talk about until that long August stretch that we hate so very much, where it really ain't nothing going on. But hopefully the NBA will give us plenty to talk about, and as they do, I will talk. So it's off season mode, man. I just didn't want my season to end tonight, but I am glad that we didn't get blown out or that we didn't show a lack of effort. So that's really it, man. That's it. The Denver Nuggets are a very, very, very special team, and it took a lot for us to just get one game out of this series, and I thought we were damn close to getting 3 games out of this series. In Game 3 and tonight as well. So not how we wanted it to end, LA, but to be honest with you, it's kind of what I expected. When the season started and how things were going, I felt like this was a mediocre team, and I thought that we'd probably get beat like this in the first round or something like that. I really did, but I didn't anticipate feeling positive at the end of this at all. So I'm content. I think I have to be, BDL44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.